Hello guys and welcome back. So in our previous section we have completed our parkour action system. Now from this video onwards we will start working on our climbing system. Our climbing system will use the same code and the same methods as our parkour system. Okay, first of all we will be taking control away from the player, then we will be playing the animation, and while the animation is playing we are rotating the player, we are target matching, and then after that we give back the control to the player. Okay, so in the similar way we will be typing the code for our climbing system. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is, instead of typing all of this code again for our climbing control or climbing system, let's just make this code reusable so that we can use this for our parkour system and also for our climbing system as well. So what we're gonna do with this is we will copy both of these methods, the compare target and then the perform parkour action. Okay, so copy this to from here, then click on the clear script. Right here, after this on draw gizmo selected, we will give some space and then we will simply paste it like this. Okay, right here, make this a public method now, and also let's change the name to perform action. We will remove the parkour since we will be now using this for our climbing as well, so there is now no need for the parkour word right there. Okay, and also we will remove this parameter which is new parkour action, and we name it as action as well. We will be not needing this since we will be getting all the parameters individually, for example the animation name. And if I show you in Unity, okay, all of these parameters, the animation name, the tag, the minimum height, then maximum height, etc, etc. Okay, so in here, let's first of all create a parameter for our animation name. So we will say string, and let's name this as animation name. Okay, so once you create that parameter, you don't need the action dot right here. We can now just simply type the animation name as it is, like that. Then after this we need the required rotation, so let me copy that, and right here we will say quaternion and then required rotation. Okay, and once you do that, remove this action dot from there. That is it. Then after this we will change this look at obstacle. So if we click right here, now we will create a bool which will be by the name of look at obstacle, and by default this will be false. Okay, and once you create that, let's remove this action from there as well. Okay, and also right here, as you know that we have created a string for the animation name, so we don't need this action right here as well. Okay, so after this, if we check our compare target method right here, we don't need this action as well now, because as I told you, we will be now using this for our climbing system as well. So what we will do, we will create a new class for this compare target to store all the target matching parameters. Okay, so right down below this has player control, we have this curly bracket, and right down below here we will say public class, and let's name this as compare target parameter. Okay, and in here, first of all we will be creating a parameter for our position. If we see right here in our compare target, we have the position, then the rotation, the body part, and then the start time and end time. So right here we will say public vector 3, and let's name this as position. Then after this we will say public avatar target. Let's name this as body part. Then after this we will create a vector 3 for the position weight. So we will say position weight. Then after this we will say public float, and let's name this as start time. And then we will create another one which will be a float as well, and this will be the end time. Okay, now if we scroll up to the compare target, right here we will now remove this new parkour action from there, and instead of this we will type match, or actually compare target parameters, okay, which we created right here. Then we will name this as compare target parameter, okay. Then in here in the animator dot match target, first of all we need the compare position. So for the position we will type now just position, so compare target parameter dot position, okay. Then for the rotation we will leave this as transform dot rotation. Then for the compare body part we will say compare target parameter dot body part. Then after this, instead of this compare position weight, now we will say compare target parameter dot position weight, okay. Then we need the start and end time, so we will say compare target parameter dot start time. Then we will copy this, paste it right there, and change this to end time. That is it. Now let's go ahead and create a parameter for this compare target. So if we scroll up now to our perform action, now right here we will simply paste that, and now instead of this, okay, we will change the name of it so that you guys don't confuse it with this one. Okay, so this time let's name this as compare target parameters, okay, CTP. Then what we will do right here, we will now remove this action dot allow target matching, and instead of this we will type CTP if that is not null. Then we will target match, so instead of the action now we will simply say CTP. Okay, now instead of this player script dot rotation speed, we will just type rotation speed, since we are already now on the player script, okay, and the rotation speed is right there, okay, so you don't need the player script or rotation speed right there. Now after this we need to create a parameter for our parkour action delay. So if we scroll up right here in the perform parkour action, what I will do is, first of all, I will press enter right here to see the code like this, okay? And then right here after this, look at obstacle. We will now create a float which will be by the name of, let's just say, parkour action delay. Let me actually copy this name, paste it right here, and by default this will be equals to 0f, or you can say just 0. Then if we scroll down now from here, remove this action. Now after this, if we check the top right here of the perform action now, if you double click on this player in action, as you know that we don't have any player in action rule on this player script. That is actually on our parkour controller script, okay, if you check it out, as you can see. So what we need to do is we will be actually removing this from here, okay, just cut it from there, then get back to the player script, and right here after this player control we will paste it. And now this time we will be making this player in action a property, because we need to access this, or we will be needing this in our project in order to check if the player is in action or not, okay? For example, we will be needing this player in action in our parkour controller as well, since we cut this from here, and as you know it needs the player in action right here. So we will be passing this player in action from this player script to our parkour controller script, okay? So let's make this a property. So what we will do, we will say public bool player in action, then we will add the curly brackets, and in here we will say get, and then private set. That is it. Now if we scroll down to our perform action right here, now the player in action will be true and false, and it will be storing inside this property, okay? Now after this we will be removing this set control from here, because not all of the parkour action, or you can say the climbing actions, would want to take away the control from the player, okay? So what we will do, we will simply remove this from there and from down below right here. So now after this, if we get back to our parkour controller script now, right here, as I told you, now we will be using whatever is inside the player in action right here on the player script, okay, this one. So what we will do, we will now at the start of this we will say player script dot player in action, okay? We already have a reference for our player script right there. Then right down below right here we will also say player script dot player in action. Then in our perform parkour action, what we will do now is we will remove this player in action from top and from the bottom, and then we will remove all of the code in the perform parkour action. We will just leave these two. Then in here what we will do, we will say compare target params, or let's just name this as parameter. This will be equals to compare target parameters, okay, and this will be by default equals to null. Then after this we will say that if action dot allow target matching, okay, this is coming from our new parkour action right here, allow target matching, And as you know, we have a reference for that right here. So action dot allow target matching. So if this is the case, then in here we will start the target matching. So first of all, we will say compare target parameter equals to new compare target parameter. Okay, then as you know that this has properties right here. If you see it, the position, body part, position, weight, start time, end time. So let's assign that. So for the position, okay, we will pass the action dot compare position. Then after this, for the body part, we will pass the action dot compare body part. Then for the position weight, we will pass action dot position weight. So let me copy this from here and paste it right here. Okay, and at the end we actually need to remove that. Okay, remove the semicolon. And now after this, for the start time, we will pass action dot compare start time. Then after this we have the end time. So for that we will pass action dot compare end time. Okay, then right here add the semicolon. Then after this we will say yield return player script dot perform action. Okay, then right here we will say action dot, let me check right here. Okay, so action dot animation name. So we need to pass the animation name. Okay, we are passing the animation name, this one, okay, from our parkour action. Then after that we need to pass the compare target parameters. Okay, since at the second option it needs the CTP, so for that we will simply say compare target parameters. Then we will say action dot, now we need to pass the rotation. So for that we will say required rotation. Then we need to pass the rotate to obstacle, or actually it is by the name look at obstacle. Okay, and as you know that we have created a reference for this which is by the name of look at obstacle. Okay, the L is capital, so make sure that you type that right here. Then after this we need the action dot parkour action delay, since it needs the parkour action delay as you can see. And after that we have nothing, so we will just now at the end add a semicolon right there to end it, and that is basically it. Now our code is reusable. Okay, we can now use the perform action both for our parkour actions. As you can see, we are now using it to perform parkour actions, and in the same manner we will be now using this for our climbing actions as well. And by using this you can add even more actions, okay? For example, sliding actions or whatever actions that are inside a parkour game, okay? So now just simply save this. And now if we get back to Unity, let's now perform all of the actions. As you can see, the player can jump perfectly fine on these. Now let's jump right here as well, as you can see, and now let's climb this. As you can see, the player is climbing and also jumping down from this. Okay, so all of our parkour actions are working perfectly fine. Okay, and if you try to perform it right here, as you can see, it works as well. Okay, so now all of the parkour action works just as we created them in our previous sections. And now, as I told you, from this video onwards, now we will be working on our climbing system. So this was the first video for that. Now from the next video we will start adding some climbing actions.